It's Anna on the Colombia podcast, and it's episode 43. What are we going to talk about today, Joel?
I have no clue, Andrew Macia. I'm not a singer. Fuck the shit. You sing, Andrew.
Well, none of us are singers.
Yeah, you're sort of singing. Anna's a singer. She's going to be singing for us. Today, we have a Paisa girl. And for those of you who don't know, Paisas are people from Medellin and Antioquia in this region. And she's going to tell us what it's like being a Paisa girl and her experience living abroad, coming back, and a whole lot of different things, interesting things going on her Instagram. You guys follow her if you can. Taught him everything he knows. Let's hit it.
Welcome to the Colombia podcast. I'm Andrew Macia.
I'm Joel Duncan.
And you are?
Ana Estrada.
We are here with Ana Estrada, who is a Colombiana.
Yes.
So for those of you guys that are joining us on YouTube or even on Spotify, we do have this episode in Spanish. We record 45 minutes to probably an hour in English, and then the same thing in Spanish. So if you speak Spanish, or if you got a mom that wants to listen to us, send her my number. I love moms.
That's good. Well, actually, the reason that we do the Spanish after is that so I can get a nice 45 minutes to loosen up with some fine beverages and then just let whatever comes out of my mouth that sounds like Spanish happen.
Yeah.
Is that not right?
Yeah, that's right.
Like it's intentional. Over here, I'm drinking a little bit of Malbec from La Posta. And I got this from, I always mess it up. Sorry, Juan. La Riviana?
La Riviana.
La Riviana. La Riviana. Hey,
Riviana.
people. Hey, Felipe, make sure you drop the Instagram for La Riviana. So that so people can see where I get this amazing wine. Honestly, people, this wine's about 60,000 pesos, the best 60,000 peso wine I've ever found.
I agree.
In Medellin.
That's a good price.
Grab a glass. You want to try it? Here, to have a sip.
Yes.
And I'm also in the next hand, I'm drinking Metropole beer. For all those of you who don't know. Yeah, the Metropole Beer Company or Beer Lab. Check them out on Instagram also. By the way, we're not really sponsored by anyone. These are actually things that we drink on a regular day, every day, because we're alcoholics. And so check them out if you want. Andrew, what are you guys drinking over here in your little brown glasses?
Anna, what is this?
I'm drinking Ron Viejo de Caldas.
Ron Viejo de Caldas.
Yes.
And I bought this on the corner of La 10, right next to Parque Poblado. It's called El Chuzo de Jota. He's the owner of one of the most busiest intersection liquor stores, and he speaks English and Spanish. So today on the Colombia podcast, and remember, we changed our name. We used to be the Medellin podcast. Now we're the Colombia podcast, and the reason for being the Colombia podcast is because we want to be inclusive to all Colombians, not just Paisas. We love Paisas. We've been living here for almost a decade in Medellin.
Yeah.
But I love all parts of Colombia. I've met so many people from so many different parts of Colombia that are so interesting. And we want to be able to travel to those locations, do podcasts with them, introduce the world to an amazing Colombia, like we're doing today with Ana.
Yeah. So actually, good question. I want to ask you a question before we kick it off with her.
Pressure.
Yeah, you're under some serious pressure. There's millions of people watching you right now. Just picture that. Anna is I would say Andrew's guest on this one. Andrew's invite, and I know absolutely nothing about Anna. And for the first time in the history of this podcast, I did not read the brief that we sent to Anna. So she's briefed. Andrew's briefed, and I don't have a clue what the fuck we're going to talk about. So why did you invite Anna? What did you think was your motivation for inviting Anna?
Well, first of all, she has been abroad. She's a Paisa woman who grew up here and goes to university here. She works here. She has traveled to Australia. She has learned English, and she speaks it really well.
Is that considered English, though, what they speak over there?
Well,
because if it ain't American English,
it's Australian.
She speaks Australian. She speaks Australian.
I speak something really weird because before traveling to Australia, I used to have like the most American accent that you could ever imagine. And then I went there and my accent completely changed.
Yeah.
And then after I came here, I started consuming a lot of British media too.
Oh, okay.
So it all kind of merged together. So I don't know how I do this or why I do this, but if you put me in a context where people are speaking English with that accent, I adopt it after a while.
Okay. That's
and
good.
It's very unconscious. So if you put me in New York, say 2 weeks, I'll be speaking like a New Yorker.
Like J-Lo.
But I think that's easier. I think that's easier for somebody who it's not their native language. You sort of just mimic
Like
what
adapt,
you hear.
yeah.
Because I used to speak very Mexican, believe it or not, because I learned Spanish. I learned something in the streets in Mexico, not from like studying or whatever. And I used to be like, "¿Qué onda, güey? Ah, está chido." That's how I spoke for like the first 2 years that I was here. So I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And now I was actually in a car today with a bunch of people, and they were asking about my Spanish, and I'm like, they were asking me about pues. And now I realize, like, when I write in Spanish, and somebody's ask me something, I'll start off with, well, pues, la 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 la, and I never did that. Like, literally, this is something that kicked in the last few months, I'd say. So yeah, we just adapt.
Right.
Yeah.
So to answer or complete the answer to your question, the reason why I thought that, Anna would be a great guest is because she could give us insights or a point of view that we don't know.
Yeah.
We are old ass men, almost 40, in Colombia. We're
That's
single.
not old. That's fun.
And we're colored.
And we're funny, and we
we're
silly, and we colored. Give me a high five. Boom, for those of you who don't know that song. Anna doesn't know that song. You didn't know that. Damon Wayans, the Wayans
brothers. Yeah. What was
It's
it?
just,
That was the
it
name
says,
of that wasn't the name of
we're brothers, we're funny, and we're silly, and we're colored, so give me a high five.
Yes.
And that's all the song. Anyways, you guys can see that my singing talents.
And we just aged ourselves because that in the old
Yeah,
ass song
nobody
that
knows what we're
most
talking about.
People that are 20 or under 30 probably won't
The
know.
only person that's cheering us on right now is Gio, my mom, and your mom.
Yeah, my
Yep.
mom doesn't even know that song. That's how old I am.
So you basically thought that you'd be a good guest because of her call it diversity and experience both here and abroad.
Right. It's different than let's say someone that was born and raised here and hasn't left here. Not saying that wouldn't be an interesting perspective, but her perspective is a little interesting because she has seen what life is like
Outside.
For example, in Australia. I've never been to Australia, and then she came back and she speaks English really well. As you can see, her vocabulary is pretty. She used the word meshed.
Meshed?
I don't even use
I don't even know what that means. What is that, like a type of underwear? Yo, actually, one of the things I want to say something about that because Jose from Metropole actually hit me up and he goes, wow, I see you guys have been getting like, a lot more famous guests and stuff like that. I'm happy that I got in there before you guys started with famous guests and stuff. And listen, I think that our show will be a mixture of all different types of people. We said that when it started. Like, we're not just interested in, obviously, famous folks bring more attention to our show, and they're also interesting.
Right.
We won't turn it back on them, but also people that I would say are regular people starting something in business, have a different perspective, different age groups, races, whatever. We want to show like the full Colombian, the different perspectives.
Right.
And so I think it's great that after a few people that are, influencers and what's not, we have another up and coming influencers, which we'll talk about. I think that you're going down that path also.
Well, I don't know if I'm actually going down that path of being an influencer. It's just like I've been a lot more active on Instagram recently because I created my podcast, which is centered around literature. It was literally born out of boredom.
Okay. During the quarantine?
During the lockdown. And it has had a really good reception from people. It's been quite successful, and I don't know. I am going to just
continue and see
let
where it goes.
Yeah.
So let's
start
get into that. Let's talk about your podcast. Can you tell us the name of your podcast?
Yes, of course. My podcast is called Tinta en Voz, and it is centered around literature. So it all began when I was in lockdown, feeling absolutely lonely and miserable. And I was laying on my bed, looking at my bookcase. I really love books. I love literature. I love reading. And I was feeling very lonely. And I was like, okay, I really need to feel closer to people and I want to read something. So I asked my followers on Instagram, which are not many. It's literally just people I know and family and friends.
Just like this podcast. Yeah.
That's
basically it.
That's
basically
Me and Andrew come from big families. We're sort of both Latinos, so we have
you
big
got
families.
500 people in the family. We got 1,000 followers.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was pretty much like that. So I asked like, hey, do you guys want me to read something for you? And they were like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So 100%, everybody said yes. So I got ready. I got regia.
Yeah, you.
Regia.
Regia
Like
means...
me. Yeah, tell them what it means, girl. When I hear that word, I just go off. Tell them what it means.
So regia basically means I got all pretty. I did my makeup, I did my hair. And I started a live stream where I was reading La Hierba Roja by Boris Vian, which is a piece of French literature. And I started reading it. I read for like an hour, and then people started asking me to continue. So next day, I did it again and finished the book. And then I asked if they wanted me to read another book, and they all said yes. So it started like that.
It's like adult story, telling stories to adults.
Yes.
That's
Basically,
cool.
it's like an audiobook, but it's really interesting because I also give my opinion and my take on things. So if I'm reading something that I can't relate to the current political situation, I am going to say it. Like, okay, like this that we're reading here, it can be related to what's happening in this place. Or like, you know, you guys, we're reading here about like a character that is being discriminated. So Black Lives Matter is a thing. So, you know, like we can draw elements from the real world into the literary world.
Yeah.
And that makes it really interesting. And I also like ask people like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And then when I post my episodes, people like answer my questions, like the questions that I post them in the episodes.
Okay.
And it's been really fulfilling. It's been a really fulfilling experience because I've had friends tell me like, hey, I found a love for literature. I found this new habit in my life because of you. And I never expected that to happen.
That's cool.
At all.
That's somehow how some of the most brilliant ideas are started. Actually, it's not like you planned them, and we always tell the people too. It's like you just gotta like start something and do it, and let the sort of market determine itself.
Yeah.
I mean, similarly, just like how you're drawing similarities, it's the same way we started this podcast. But yeah, you just gotta start something and see where it goes. And but you were reading in French? Or
No,
just
I
a
was
French
reading.
author?
It was a French author. I
Okay.
do speak French. I'm fluent in French. I teach French.
Damn. It's way too humiliate
Okay,
me.
all right, cool. Let's keep going.
Belittle me real quick.
Yeah, let's
oh,
go.
Yeah, you know, I just speak French.
Next, Andrew and I will start speaking like babies. We're like,
Je
goo, goo,
parle
goo, goo.
français aussi.
We will. You
Oh oui, tu parles français aussi?
Oui, je
Take
parle
over the
français
podcast,
un peu,
Anna.
un peu. Je parle français un peu.
Ah, ok.
Je ne parle
J'ai
pas.
besoin de pratiquer beaucoup parce que j'ai oublié tout.
Ok. On pourra
Just
pratiquer
photo.
ensemble.
Joanne?
I forgot everything I told her.
Yeah.
I learned French like a few years ago now, and I just don't practice it. But I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, for example, languages just like stick in my head, like words. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like for some, like words will stick.
What's
in
your
my head.
favorite word in French?
And well, I really like the word need in French. Besoin.
Ok.
Yeah,
Besoin.
yeah. Like for some reason, that word I always remembered it, and I was like, oh, I need this, I need that, and it's a very handy word because you always use it.
What's yours?
Yeah. My favorite word in French.
Oh come on, there must be a word.
Jesus Christ.
That's French. Jesus Christ.
Jésus Christ.
Christ.
My favorite word in French would be hallucination.
What?
Say what?
Hallucination.
Yeah, that's
Hallucination.
astronaut.
Hallucination.
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 See, I can
I like
remember words, but then I just because I don't use it, like the hardest part I think of French and Spanish also, and you probably know this because you've been practicing Spanish recently more seriously with a teacher, is the conjugation of the verbs.
Yeah.
Like I always forget the conjugation of the verbs. In Spanish, it just comes natural because it's one of my it's one of my native tongues. But in French, you really have to because it's a new language for me. I
Yeah,
have
you
to
really
really
have
What
to
about
focus.
Huh?
Moufette?
Moufette?
I bet you don't know what moufette is though. I'm gonna teach you something, Miss Teacher.
Teach me something.
Moufette. Moufette. Anybody who knows what moufette is?
Wait. I got.
Yeah,
to
because
guess.
I've told you
It
before.
has to do something with like analinging or something.
Anal what?
Analinging.
Analinging. What is it like analingus?
I know you. It's got to be like.
No, it has nothing perverted.
Analingus.
What do you know me? It's a
Yeah.
It's a skunk.
Oh.
You know what a skunk is? A skunk.
Same difference.
Skunk. I mean, it does have a butt kind of because they smell like
I
butt.
know.
A
It
skunk.
had something to do with a
It's
butt.
a skunk. Okay. All right. Good. We're gonna get back to 1 second. Favorite word in Spanish.
My favorite word in
Don't
Spanish.
steal my word, and you know my favorite.
I don't know. Let me think. Favorite word in Spanish. Well, okay. I guess like in Paisa Spanish, my favorite thing to say is bien o no, or
Really?
¿qué más pues?
Okay, that's
¿Qué
your
más
Oh,
pues?
okay.
Bien o no.
Okay.
Like for some reason it just flows so nicely. ¿Qué más pues? Or the word sisas.
Sisa.
Sisas
Sis.
parce.
What's
Obviously, the word parce is really fun too.
Parce is fun. It's a fun word.
Bien o no. And you could say it all together. ¿Qué más pues parce? Bien o no. Sisas.
So boring, right? It's boring. Okay, let's tell us. What else? What's your favorite word in Spanish?
Okay, so my favorite word in Spanish would be ambrosia, which is the food of the gods in Greek literature.
Okay, so zoom in on me, man.
Okay,
Fuck Anna and this ambrosia. My favorite word in Spanish is ornitorrinco.
That's
Which
an animal.
is such a beautiful word. Ornitorrinco. What's ornitorrinco? You know what it is?
That's like an animal that
platypus.
hasn't really decided himself
What-
what,
what
he
he's
wants
gonna
to
be.
be.
It's a duck-billed platypus. I mean, like.
But that's not
what
like a
else-
real beautiful name. Well, actually, the corner store over here, Ornito Rincon, did a fucking amazing job with their fucking branding. It's a little
Play on words.
panaderia.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Dang, she's already on her second.
It's-
So there's a little bakery on Calle 10 called Ornito Rincon, and their brand mascot is the duck-billed platypus, which is the ornitorrinco. So it's like a play on words.
We're talking about a play
Yeah.
on words, and this podcast is going to get real live, real quick, real fast. Anna asked me to pass her the bottle. Felipe, turn that camera over here for a second. Anna just asked the Facebook watchers, can you please pass my glass? I need to pour some rum. And she poured a half a glass of raw rum. This is going to get out of control.
Hello.
Wow.
Stay tuned for the Spanish.
Anna's just gonna like
Yes.
start dancing and.
Yeah, so you want some ice.
Yes,
Keep
please.
talking, people.
Yes, please.
He's going to go.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Okay.
So moving on to your podcast, talking about
Yeah.
your podcast and books and stuff. I wanted to ask you, like, because we talked about stories and authors before. What would you say is your favorite author?
Oh, that one is a really
Okay.
difficult
Let's
one.
narrow it down. Let's narrow it down. Who is your favorite English author? I would say.
My favorite English author.
Somebody with a male name. I'm just trying to narrow it down for her because she's going to.
With
No,
a
but
male
I know
name?
what-
No,
talking
because
about.
I was going to say Mary Wollstonecraft.
Okay.
Okay.
She's the mother of Mary Shelley, the
Yeah,
one who wrote
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yes.
And she is a really important figure in like my life because she wrote Vindication of Women's Rights. So it was one of the first feminist books that I ever read. And
Wow.
it really resonated with me.
Wow.
So
I
it
have to read
inspired
that.
me.
I've never read it. I have to be honest. I've never read Shelley. The only Shelley is Mary Shelley. It's Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing that I've ever read. But I've never read her mom.
No, her mother was a really prominent figure and she was extremely controversial and she created the basis for like a lot of what women's rights became after her.
Right.
So I really admire her as a person, especially because she was in a time where things were even more difficult. And women couldn't even publish books in their own names back then.
Yeah, they used, what do you call those? Pen names? The pen
Yeah, the pen
Yeah,
names.
pen
So like
names.
there would be like
Or
like
publishing under their husband's
That's
name.
Men. Oh, they're the
That's
husband's
crazy.
name. Yeah, that's what I do. I publish under Joel's name,
I'm his husband.
who's my husband.
Yep. So in case you guys didn't know, that's the legal status that's been going on here.
So
Well, that's
if you like to put a ring on it.
So Andrew, who's your favorite author?
In English, well, I mean, it may be cliche for a lot of people, but one of my favorite authors, old-time authors, is Edgar Allan Poe. I love Edgar Allan Poe. I've read pretty much almost everything that he's written, and I've always thought it was amazing. And I guess because I got into Edgar Allan Poe at a young age when I was, doing a lot of drugs and doing a lot of drinking and also battling with depression, battling with anxiety, and battling with my own demons. So getting into that when I was 9 years old was great. You know, when I was like an avid drug addict at 9.
For sure.
No, I'm just kidding. It was more like I actually got introduced to Edgar Allan Poe when I was 13, but when I was 19 and I was heavy into like that life in California, it was something that I could actually resonate. It resonated with me, and also his life and his ramblings sometimes actually really got to me. So I like to write, but nothing to that level. But it's always very entertaining. So I would say my favorite Edgar Allan Poe short story. It's probably one of the lesser known ones is The Gold Bug. And the next one is The Telltale Heart, which is everyone knows The Telltale Heart, but not many people know The Golden Bug. And it was actually became a movie, which like a short movie, which is pretty interesting.
So I got a question there on that note. How long is that? How many pages is that short story?
The Golden Bug is actually pretty long for a short story. It's like 100 and something pages.
Sweet. So Anna, how much would you charge for like a private reading to put Andrew to sleep, or just to like, you know what I mean? You call it. It could be a service, right? Like I'm serious.
Like a bedtime story.
It's like an Airbnb, not an Airbnb, but like an Uber for people that come and read to you while you go to bed, and then they leave, and they won't steal anything.
I was thinking they won't steal anything.
No, they
won't. I was thinking
That was actually a really good idea.
I was
Should be
thinking
doing
about
that.
speakerphone, not like her showing up.
No, I'm telling you.
So that could get a little weird. But
No,
it's like a dude. She pops up.
Definitely.
I would look at the profile, and if I saw Anna, I'd be like, okay, she's coming over, and she's gonna read me a bedtime story.
No, but that could get really twisted. There's a
No,
lot of
that
twisted
can get, like,
dudes out
really
there.
dangerous.
She's coming over for
Why
her
not?
job to read a story to a weird man.
That's
in a
the
room.
next step in the game.
No, she
right
would
now,
have to have a gun. You'd
Yeah,
have to have a
no.
gun.
Remember, there was a time when people told us, "Don't get in a car with a stranger." Now we literally fucking call strangers to pick us up at our house. The next step in this game is to bring strangers into the house and be completely.
Hey, we're about
fine
to
with
talk about female rights and feminism and stuff going on in
Revolutionary.
this show. All I know, Anna, I have sisters.
I wouldn't do that.
Take a machine gun and read the story like this, because there's some creepy ass men out there.
it. No, but what if
With
you're
high
like,
heels.
You know, yeah, for sure. No, but seriously, I was half joking, because I think it would be an amazing idea. Like,
that would be great,
you
actually.
literally call somebody up, they put their speakerphone on,
Or like
and-
a FaceTime or
yeah, or
something.
FaceTime, and you just read. I mean, just
Like
read.
reading
You
to
read.
it.
Yeah, just read.
Like
I
Goldilocks
don't
and
know
the
how much
Three
I would
Bears.
charge for it, but
Think
maybe.
about that.
Yeah, I'd
about
think
it.
about
That
that.
could be a new business.
That's a really nice offer to make.
Maybe I'll go read to someone. One other author that's really great, I'm sure you've probably read him, and if you haven't, I'm going to pay you to read The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway.
I actually haven't read that one.
Have you ever read
It's a
any
classic.
Hemingway?
I think not.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
a classic. That's a classic.
Old
think
Man
I
and the
have.
Sea. So there was a time in my life where I read 2 books every year. Well, it was Old Man and the Sea, at least once a year, and also Herman Hesse's Siddhartha,
Siddhartha
which is an amazing
Go
book.
placidly amidst the noise and the haste. That's how it starts.
And Siddhartha, and The Rising Sun by Ernest Hemingway. Those are amazing. But actually, The Rising Sun was a book that I read and made me want to travel. Like, I've never wanted to travel ever in my life. Like, even as a kid, I was like, traveling sucks. Whatever, I like to be home and play Xbox. But then I read The Rising
You know
Sun.
that nobody's mother is gonna contact you after saying that
Why?
because they want to travel. Moms will love traveling.
Moms
My
loves
mom
to travel.
Okay.
I'll take you away from your kids. So anyway,
All right.
that's a great thing.
Strange guy.
So Anna, you know literature, you know Colombian literature. Obviously, you're Colombian. Who would you recommend someone, let's say like a foreigner that wants to get into learning about Colombian literature, they should read?
I think for not only about Colombian literature, but about Colombia, you definitely should read Santiago Gamboa.
Santiago Gamboa.
Yes, because he writes novels. I especially recommend Plegarias Nocturnas, which he wrote in 2012. And it tells the story of 2 siblings, brother and sister, who were living their teenage years and early 20s under Uribe's government. So it is a really important part of our history, and he really gives a lot of detail of the things that were going on politically and how that affected young people and like people in general in their
That's
everyday
interesting.
lives.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
And it is a really nice story to read because there is love, there is sex, there is politics, there is philosophy, there is a lot of things. There are a lot of things on that book. So yeah.
And I'm sure you could find it in English as well.
Probably. I
Yeah.
am actually not sure, but probably.
Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be a translated version somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I would say most foreigners would probably know who Gabriel Garcia Marquez is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that you didn't say that name first.
Well, I mean, like, obviously, like, you should read him because, like, he is an icon in Colombian literature. He was a Nobel Prize of Literature. And, you know, like, he has, like, really good short stories. And obviously, 100 Years of Solitude
my
is a
gosh.
classic.
Yeah.
It's a classic, and it is a really big part also of Colombian history. Like, he based his novel on things that were happening in the Caribbean coast. So it tells a story, obviously, it's very amplified of what actually happened, but you can, like, begin to get into
What is
understanding Colombia.
What is his genre? His genre is called like magic realism.
Magic realism.
Magic realism.
Yeah.
One of my favorite short stories of all time, including Edgar Allan Poe and any other short story writer that I've read before, is A Very Old Man with Giant Wings. Have you ever read that by Gabriel Garcia Marquez?
I think I have.
Yeah, so it's amazing. It's about an old man that is found in this town. And so the whole story starts in a town on the coast near Venezuela and Colombia, like a lot of his stories do. It's like this magical town. But you don't know it's magic yet. It's like a very normal town. You talk about the kid there, the old man that lives with the kid, and the grandma, the grandfather. All of a sudden the tide rises, and then there's like lobsters coming in and clams, or not clams, but crabs coming into the town. They have to like shoo them out of sweep them out of the kitchen and stuff. And then all of a sudden, the kid's walking down the street or the little town and sees a very old man with giant wings, just like almost dying. He's dying. And then like the logic of the town is to cage it up because they don't know what it is. And he almost becomes like an attraction to the town. Like people coming in just to see this very old man. Who knows where the hell this guy came from? He's just got giant wings, but he's old. And then eventually he gets enough energy and everything, and he flies away into the horizon. But even The Simpsons had an episode that was very similar to that, where Homer found an angel, like an angel skeleton with wings buried in the backyard, and then he started selling tickets for people to come and look at the thing, which was reminiscent of that Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Lightning question. Huh?
And then they make the supermarket?
What?
And then they put it in the supermarket?
I believe so. Yeah, that episode.
Actually,
that was based on that short story.
Actually, The Simpsons made quite a few references to Colombia. I remember one episode where they referenced Pablo Escobar as well, but I'm not really sure how it went.
That's not Colombia.
Yeah.
That's to Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, that's Pablo Escobar. I guess it would be Colombia.
I mean, it is
it's
because
Colombia.
it's part of the history, of course, and like you have to kind of understand.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, you said that A Rising Sun, is that what you called it?
Yeah.
So, by the way, the Caribbean folks watching, one of my favorite books growing up was called A Rising Sun. But V.S. Naipaul, for those of you know from Trinidad, if you're from the Caribbean, anywhere in the Caribbean, you probably know that book. That was my favorite book in high school. Last book question, favorite book ever?
Favorite book ever, Old Man in the Sea. That's it, hands down.
You got
I think I'll have to read it after this.
What's your favorite book, though?
I don't really think I have a favorite book.
Like, okay,
I can't choose.
Okay, we're playing Desert Island.
Yeah.
You literally are stuck on a desert island with one book.
You're not going to give us these non-answers this whole pod. You're going to give us yeah. Come on, tell. What's your favorite book?
Okay, if I were stuck in
Which
a
book
desert-
would you read again? That's probably your favorite book.
Oh, I would definitely read 1984 again.
George Orwell?
And again.
Oh shit!
That's
See,
a
we
good
got.
one.
Orwell.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like
That's
that.
actually what I'm reading on my podcast right now.
Oh,
if you
sweet!
go.
I'm gonna check that out.
Isn't that kind of long?
It's
To
like
read
a
it?
fat ass book.
Yeah, like you have to like read many episodes of that just reading it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I read like full books. Like that is
That's
like
crazy.
I don't know
That's
how
awesome.
nobody mentioned it. Favorite book, people. My book, the only book that literally has ever made. I cried. I literally am not a crier. I do not cry at all. And one book has made me cry. And I was like, I remember my mom and sister found out and they made fun of me. Maya Angelou. You read it.
Yeah.
Why does the caged bird sing?
Cage
Do you remember that?
sing?
Why does the caged bird sing? If anybody wants to read a really, really good book, very fluid reading, Maya Angelou. If nobody knows Maya
That's your
Angelou,
favorite
please.
book of all time?
I love
Yeah,
that book.
that is a good book.
I love
I
that
loved
book, and
it.
I would
I
love
loved
to
it
read
too.
it again.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
Love to read it
definitely. Yeah. It's so hard to pick like one book that
Yeah.
you read.
But
forever,
I literally remember I was sitting on the toilet like most people do when they read. I was sitting on the toilet.
That's
I
where
was,
she does her podcast.
yeah,
Exactly.
I was literally like in the toilet. I think I was 12 years old, and I was reading "Why Does the Caged Bird Sing?" And there was a certain scene where she got beat by her mom or grandma for using a certain word, and I felt so much like pain for her, but I could, I put myself there
Yeah,
that I
she
started crying on the toilet, and my mom said, "Are you okay in there?" But she
That's
thought
all.
I was struggling. It was just a book. It was just a book, Mom. But yeah, that actually I can remember when I read that book. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's it. That's it for my book.
So Anna, do you like to write also, or do you just like reading books?
I do write in a journal, but it's nothing that I would publish.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Joel? Do you like to write?
I love to write. Honestly, do love to write.
Joel's actually a very good writer. He has some flaws though. You want to know what his flaws are?
Of course.
His flaws are that he's too analytical.
Oh.
In writing,
In everything, well, yeah, in everything, but in writing, I believe that if you were to write a book, you would die first before you finished
that
it.
is true. That is true. By the way, for those of you who don't know,
Oh, that
before,
reminds me of a character of The Pest of Albert Camus.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because
Pest.
there was a character who was, I think he was a lawyer, and he was trying to like write this book, and he never passed the first page because
That's
he was
Joel.
trying.
No, that's
he
not-
was
no.
trying to find the perfect words.
Okay, well, you would pass the first page.
hold on, people. By the way, for those of you who don't know, people always say, Joel, you've done a lot of things. I did a lot of things. I've actually been published quite a few times in magazines, but you do have a point. The first time I wrote for a British magazine, I wrote a featured piece. It was 7. I used to do travel writing.
Yeah.
And I actually do remember writing a 7-page article called How to Enjoy Costa Rica During the Rainy Season, A Journey Through Water. And I wrote the entire piece. I had to submit it by 7 a.m. And at 12 or 1 a.m., I told my dad I wanted to start over because I didn't like it. I didn't feel it. And he's like, are you kidding me? You just have to just read it over and do. But I do analyze it to death because when I write something that's going out to the public, I believe that it's your one shot.
Right.
And
So
you
all
don't
of
get
those
to take that back.
So all of those girls that have gotten a late night text message from Joel, it's taken hours.
I started 7 days
hours.
before. I started 7 days
And then it's
before.
just like, ¿qué más pues?
Hola. Remember, Leo used
The
to
big
drop
Hola,
the
¿cómo
H?
estás?
Dropping the
Yeah,
big
yeah.
H.
¿Qué más?
Hola, bebé.
Yeah, hola, bebé. No,
So-
that's totally not me. Totally not me.
Oye, bebé. Oye, bebé.
Anna, you are Paisa. Is that correct?
Well, I think so, yeah.
You were born here.
I was born here and raised here.
Where were you born? Were you born in Medellin City?
Medellin City Center, yeah.
Oh, in the center? In
Yeah,
the center?
Clínica
Downtown.
Soma.
You were born in downtown?
Yeah.
And
you
then,
born in
and then Soma?
Yeah.
Right there by
Avenida
Oriental
Oriental.
con La Playa.
Do you have
Yeah.
to get special vaccines for that? Like being
I
born
think
down
so,
there?
maybe.
Yeah, you can. You got like rabies? No. You gotta get.
Or you could get like infected with anything.
So she was
Oh,
born
yeah.
in El Soma. This is how old I am. I used to live by El Soma.
When it was being constructed?
When she was born. No,
Oh.
just kidding.
When she was born. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you would have been like, what, 17?
no,
no.
yeah. When I was 17, I was still in the U.S.
Wait, how old are you, Anna?
I'm 23.
So how old?
23.
Is that legal on this show? We
Yeah,
have 23-year-olds.
We had a 23-year-old. Yeah, Sam. Sam was young. How old is Sammy?
No, Sam's older.
Sammy's
No,
older
but
now.
Sophia was like that age. I
Okay,
think
okay.
Sophia
So
was
we've
that
had young people on the show. This is an old person show, but we have young people.
I don't know why you keep saying that. You're as old as you feel.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I
that's
feel
true.
like I'm
That's
40.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
I play basketball. After I play basketball, I feel like I'm 50.
Listen, the other day we were out in Moravia, and this woman was like staring at me, and she asked Julian. She started speaking to him in Spanish because she didn't think I spoke Spanish. And then he's like, speak to him. And she looks at me, and I had this tapabocas, this mask on, so my beard is sticking out. And she goes like this. In the middle of the fucking COVID pandemic, she takes her hands and like so seductively grabs my beard. And she goes like this, and she goes, ¿Está pintada o es real? And I'm like, that means, is it dyed or is it real? And she literally went like this and did this slow stroke. And I tried to compose myself, and I said, so how old do you think I am? And she said 28.
Oh,
And so
Yeah.
I took her face, and I went like this. God bless your soul. I didn't do that. No, but I did say, what?
I've had the complete different experience. Granted, this was before I lose like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. You did lose like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. But it's actually it's kind of in context because you guys were in Comuna 13 last week.
Yeah.
So this is when I used to work in Comuna 13. And one of the kids that came to the library park comes to me and he goes like, Professor, how old are you? And at the time, huge belly, big beard. and I go, oh, how old do you think I am? And at the time, I'm like 27. And he goes like
52. He said 52.
42.
Yeah.
42. Wow.
You got that old spirit?
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's old
Did that
spirit.
make you lose weight and like shave your beard?
No, that happened a couple of years later, but
Yeah.
maybe that was the initial spark.
That was the like
Yeah.
Yeah.
how it all started.
Yeah, well,
So-
so Anna's 23 years old.
Anna is a 23-year-old Paisa. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Anna?
Wow. So I am a language teacher by day.
Okay.
And
I-
by night?
And
And
by
by
night, as Carla would say, yeah.
And at night.
At night I dance.
Ooh.
So
You
I
dance.
teach English, Spanish, and French as foreign languages.
Okay.
And that is always a challenge because obviously I am very young and I look younger than I am. So normally like kids think I am either like a new student and it's kind of a weird vibe at the beginning.
They always
So-
ask you where the class is. They're like,
And like, I am actually your teacher, hey.
Do you know where the teacher is?
They're older than you? Do you have older students?
I've had older students, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's also like a really interesting experience because it's like a very horizontal relationship. It's not so vertical,
Yeah.
like
Wait,
not
what does
so
that mean?
authoritarian.
I'm a horizontal relationship with the teacher. What does that mean?
Like we're on the same kind of level. Like
you don't have an authority.
you're not like the authority like that. Yeah.
Andrew, we were talking to a well-read woman. This
Yeah,
is a
I
very,
know.
very
Shit,
different type of podcast.
that caught me off guard.
Nobody has ever said,
We have a horizontal.
I'm a horizontal man. In case you guys didn't know. That's
I'm
nice. I like to bring
sorry.
it. Yeah, I'm a horizontal man. I like to lay down.
So yeah, so I do that like for work, and I am an artist as well. I do tribal fusion belly dance. I've been dancing for 7 years now.
Wait, what do you do?
Tribal fusion belly dance.
fusion
You best
belly
believe
dance.
you're gonna do some tribal fusion belly dance right here and show people what that's like. Felipe is
Of
gonna get all
course.
shy and go.
Felipe's gonna join in.
Yeah,
Felipe
and
can
Anna
join in
are
with
gonna
me.
have. Hey, Felipe, you are gonna battle. Hey, this is your 15 seconds of fame. You're gonna step from behind the camera. You're gonna battle Anna in a tribal fusion belly dance off. Stay tuned. It's happening. Yes, it is, Felipe. You know what Andrew's gonna say if you say no.
I can battle
You're
her
fired.
in the belly department.
Not the dance.
No,
Just a belly
you beat me in the
competition.
belly part.
Okay, so you are a tribal fusion belly dancer,
Yeah.
and you're an English teacher. What else do you do?
Can I ask?
Now I am
let me be
podcasting.
very candid about this. She's got a podcast. I would. Andrew, can we do that ping thing again? So everybody, please check out Anna's Instagram at ping right there and tell me what you think, because there's a lot of interesting things there. Me being a person that manages a camera.
What?
What else goes on? I see there's a lot of. I mean, we're free to talk about whatever we want to talk about here.
Oh yeah, of
Okay,
course.
so I just tripped over Anna's profile, and I've been for some reason,
Sorry.
wanting to photograph semi-nudes.
Nudes, full nudes.
Well, I was saying semi-nudes because I like a little. If it's nude, I feel people feel like it's. And I know where this is going somewhere, and I know.
Well,
I don't mind it.
Hey, I know. No. Wait.
Well,
wait.
Joel has been practicing on me, and
We're actually gonna post a photo of Andrew in his semi-nude in the living room.
no,
but
full
wait,
nude.
wait.
Is that
full
what you
frontal,
have gone through like 4 cameras already?
Yeah, all my cameras keep tripping out and breaking.
full
No, but
frontal nudity?
I wanna ask a question about that because I find it great. When I looked at your profile, I'm like, wow, I would never have expected that because I only met you one time when you were hanging out with Andrew.
Yeah.
And I went and I saw black and white photos. I saw the ones I don't know before you were in Santa Elena or whatever with a group of other girls, which I thought was brilliant work. Photographer to another photographer. If that person ever watches this, I think it was really good work. And I thought, wow, you seem very conservative, in my opinion. When I first met you, I was like, well, this is a very conservative woman. And then I went there and I was like, well, it doesn't look like it was your first time posing, right?
Yeah, no, definitely
Was it?
it wasn't. No.
It wasn't, so I
No,
can
it
tell
wasn't.
that at least. So it didn't look like it was your first time posing. I thought like, wow, that's amazing. So check out her Instagram and let's see what you think. That's first thing. So maybe you get a few more likes and follows and whatever else people do with the whole social media stuff. But does that have anything to do? I'm going to come back to something because earlier you mentioned one of the first books that talked about I think it was feminism and
Yeah.
I guess being a woman. Do you have a certain message that your friends and people that know you that you try to sort of talk about and portray, and did that inspire anything? Call it the nudes and semi-nudes and stuff on your Instagram that you're like, hey, I'm proud of being a female, or is that just like, hey, I like how it feels, I feel sexy? What drives you to do that?
It is a mixture of both things.
Okay.
So obviously, being raised as a Paisa girl, like it comes with a lot of conservative views, of course, because this is a very conservative society. So moving away from that is difficult, and I do think that literature, especially Mary Wollstonecraft, as I've mentioned, had a really big part to do in that, and she doesn't like explicitly advocates for that, but she does advocates for like women's personal freedoms.
Okay.
So, and I found that my sexuality was a really big part of me. I am an extremely sexual being, and I am not ashamed.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
I am not ashamed of being sexual. I am not ashamed of being a woman. I am not ashamed of my body. And I do feel that dancing as well, and the type of dance that I do, which is belly dancing, which has a lot to do with your hips, with being wavy, with the way that you move. And it is not designed to be seductive, but it can be, in the way that you see it, or like that men specifically perceive it.
Yeah.
It's very seductive. So that I came into contact with that part of myself when I started dancing at 16, 15.
Belly dancing.
Belly dancing, yeah. And I found that it really helps me feel free.
Okay.
Like, just like showing my body, showing how beautiful it is, and not being ashamed of it, and respecting my own self in my nudity. It has set me free.
But what do friends and family here? You still have Paisa friends. You still have Paisa family. When you threw up your first photo, or you like, hey, I'm doing this. Here's my first nude, laying in a chicken coop or whatever it is. You were laying in some like grass.
I was laying in an abandoned like kids playground.
I was like, what the hell is she laying in here? It looks like where we were giving out food supplies today. I'm like, you went up into the bathroom. Yeah, I'm like, this is where you want to do the nude? I thought it was pretty cool. Oh, so what did they think? What did
What did your family or friends think?
My friends were all cool with it.
Yeah.
Like the guys were really excited.
Of course,
obviously.
the guys were really excited.
The guys were really excited, and my female friends were all like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you did this! Oh my god! Like, and how was the photographer? Like, was he creepy?" And I'm like, "No, like he was just fine."
Yeah.
And but my family, that's another story.
Tell us about that.
Really?
That's what the people want to know about,
Yeah,
man. You
because
guys,
Yeah, as I said, like I don't have like a huge following on Instagram, so it's basically all family and friends. So I have like all the aunties and cousins and my dad and my 3 brothers, and everybody follows me on my Instagram. So everybody has seen my titties and my booty, pretty much.
Wow.
So my aunties were like so worried. They thought the literal demon had gotten into me. And they
Really?
texted my parents and they told them like, hey, you really need to pay attention to Anna. She's doing like these ungodly things.
Ungodly things.
Yes. And you really need to, you know, see where this girl is going. She's a really smart girl and you need to protect her. And then my mom was like, look.
Look at what you did.
Like, look at what your auntie is telling me. And I'm like, that's fucking dramatic. Like, what the hell? And my mom is actually a very, she has been a really big inspiration for me because she never got married and she has been always a very independent woman.
Wait, your parents are separated?
Yes, they never got married.
Oh, they never got married. Okay, yeah.
They never got married in the first place.
Okay.
And my dad also watched the photos and I was like, oh yeah, cool. Like,
I would feel really weird as a father watching my daughter laying in a chicken coop in Moravia.
it was an abandoned kids playground.
Abandoned kids, whatever you want to call it. Chicken coop in Moravia, abandoned playground.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about that. If
I would feel a little weird. My daughter,
But
just
you're-
using like a weird. I don't even know what you call that.
Yeah,
Like
but
a weird
it-
contortion.
Yeah.
But it is obviously art. It's
is,
not.
it is
It's
obviously
not.
art.
It's
like,
not porn. It's
It's not porn.
It's artistic.
It's not even. I wouldn't even call it soft porn at all. I would just call it art.
It is art. It was
art.
legitimately art.
I have a big poster of it above my bed.
Andrew does.
And
You
I
get up
am
there-
flattered by
You're
it.
flat. Wow. But Andrew, you ever thought of doing some?
Well, now I'm thinking about it. Shit.
No, I'm being
man.
serious. I'm being no. Let's cut the because people.
I
are-
do many nudes. I just send them to the girls that I know.
Oh,
Oh, you should send it out to the public.
you know. So I think
Send
I
it
think
out in
let's
public.
talk
You don't
about
want to
let's-
see what I send to
let's-
girls
wait
in
a second,
public.
Wait a second. We're not talking about dick pics. We always come back to dick pics.
No. I put my face in it. I just like go like this.
Big dick. If he puts his face in a dick pic, he's got a big dick. And I just say because I can't do that. I'm like,
What?
Bring
No,
it.
I just got long arms.
but wait.
It's all perspective.
It
It's
is
all the perspective.
because
And it's art, okay?
it is art. No,
It's
I
not a
honestly,
dick pic.
honestly believe.
I try to put like a nice background, like the sunset.
Yeah. So wait, what do you plan to do with? Because actually, one of the guests that we really want on this show, believe it or not, and for those of you who are watching, please put a thumbs up right if you feel it's the thing to do. I would love to have a cam girl on this show, like a Colombian cam girl that makes money.
Well,
from
we
doing
know a
that.
few, and
We do.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, at least
I
I
have
do.
a friend.
That speaks English.
I don't know.
We'll do it in Spanish. Like, cause I want to know, like, there's this whole thing around like sexuality in Colombian culture and sexuality outside of Colombia, how some people
Yeah.
view things. I think like Paisa people are, I'd say, highly sexual people.
Yeah, but very conservative.
But conservative on the
on
outside,
the front
but
side.
very, very.
They're kind of like Republicans in the U.S.
We have a word for that. It's called asolapados.
Asolapados.
Oh yeah. Azulapados.
Tell us what that means.
What
Anna.
does
Tell us what that
asolapados
Anna.
mean?
Let's hear. her voice.
Azulapados basically means that you are showing like something to other people,
Like a
That you're
facade.
not?
like a facade, and then you're not that, but then you're lying constantly to make people believe that that is what you actually are, and you're not.
Interesting.
And your
I-
actions contradict
What's that
everything
word
that you
again?
say.
Asolapados.
Asolapados. So basically, when the cat is not around, the mouse will play. That's basically what
Yeah.
asolapado means.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
So when Joel's not in the apartment, the mice play. It's bad.
So anybody that missed our first 42 episodes, what Andrew means is the opposite, because Andrew has these tight yellow underwear that he calls the Falcaos. And for those of you tuning in, Falcao is one of it's called the Tigre, the Tiger, El Tigre. You
I
may,
do
if you
have
watch
Falcao underwear.
football, soccer, you
I
know
used
who he
to.
is.
They broke.
Let me just wait.
When
wait.
have you
Wait,
It's like-
have you ever had underwear that broke?
Andrew has
Yes.
legendary underwear. It's the worst thing when you roll in and Andrew's in his Falcaos. You know it's a big night. He's setting up for a big night somehow. but he just stands there, and
tiger in it.
they're like big yellow underwear that turn beige after like 4 years. I had to deal with that, man. It's time. We gotta move on, man. We gotta move out. I gotta move across the hallway. We need to. How's that? Independizarnos.
Yeah, we gotta.
We need to be
It's
independent.
gonna be a sad day. I just leave the door open. I love.
true.
By the way, I'm one of those type of people that love to leave the door open.
Yeah.
Joel hates it. I don't know. He's always wants to close the door.
I
This
hate
is why he
leaving the
needs to
door
move out of
open.
my
Wait,
house.
this is a Colombian. He needs to move out of my house.
Yeah, he
move
needs
out of
to
my house.
move
Wait,
out.
I'm on
He
your
always
team.
closes the door.
I'm on your
Hold
side
on,
on this
hold
one.
on, hold on. I am Canadian. You heard me apologize for some shit I didn't need to apologize for today.
Yeah.
I apologize for it. I don't want the neighbors to feel uncomfortable by our ruckus, right? So
No.
I close.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm from California, and I know a lot of people over there are very conservative too. They call it the Orange Curtain in Orange County.
Yeah.
It's like the conservative, but I've still always been like Latino fire in my
Yeah.
heart. I love to leave the door open. I want to invite the neighbors in. Like
Did
I
people
hope.
just hear what I said? You walk around with your Falcao underwear. There's elderly
Yeah,
people
like today,
that are like across
I
the
swear to
hallway.
God, Anna,
Okay.
I was getting ready today for the podcast, so I took a shower and I had my music on, and I walked out in my underwear with like just this and my underwear, and I was walking across, and the neighbor was there, like opening his door. He looks back like, and I'm like, hey, ¿qué más pues? And he's talking to me.
Yeah.
Like a full conversation. I'm just in my underwear, and I've had conversations with him with his shirt off, and just like jeans. Like
It's true.
It's
Like
like
the
it's like
neighbor
a Latino
relationship
thing.
is
Like,
very intimate.
yeah, I've been to neighborhoods where we go to a door to hand a grocery, like a bag of groceries, and the guy comes out and with no shirt on.
Yeah, but there's
like
no
just underwear.
shirt.
Yeah,
So is this a Colombian
underwear. Like that's fine.
So the reason we're coming full circle.
That's
the funny
like-
thing is that Colombians are conservative, and they're not conservative when they want to, when they don't want to be.
Exactly. We are only conservative when
Well,
it is
and
convenient.
There's something else that Colombian men do. So why we should make this like a 1-minute clip so people can comment on this.
Ooh.
Why do Colombian men, particularly taxi drivers, truck drivers, and just general dudes
With big
like an
bellies.
extra large tummy? I think Felipe, when he was 1,000 pounds, used to do it. They pull their stomach up, their shirt up, and they do this little
And they
like,
show.
They go like this, right? They go like this.
The
and then
little
they just go
knots
like
on
this.
the-
Yeah,
and
they
they
just-
just they pat and they talk to you, and you're like, this is a like,
Very
why-
uncomfortable.
Why is that? Why do Colombian men
have no
roll up their shirt and they have this little tuck, this little?
It's like a perfect
Like
tuck.
the knot here. and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
stitch,
they do that. Why do they do that? Why do Colombian men not their?
I actually have enough.
I have a theory.
Tell me your theory.
I don't know.
Because the fatter you are, the more money you have.
Oh wow.
So you got to show your wealth,
The fatter
and you
you
got to roll
are.
your shirt up,
Yeah.
and that attracts women.
So
Yeah.
it's like being back in the Middle Ages.
Middle Ages, yeah, that's like the Dark Ages.
So this is actually a segue into a very interesting question that I have.
Of course.
For you being a
Shoot it.
23-year-old
Paisa.
Paisa pollito, like like
Pollita.
little pollita, like a little young one. What do you feel? You lived in Australia. We're gonna come to that in a second, right? For like a year or something.
I was there for like almost 7 months.
We're all about embellishing and rounding up on this show. So you lived there for a year.
All right.
And
I
as a woman, so
Mm-hmm.
we're coming back to the origin of this conversation, back with the books.
What was the name of the author? Shelley?
Mary Wollstonecraft.
Mary Wollstonecraft.
Shelley. Yeah.
Well,
That's
The mummy of Mary Shelley.
Mary
Yeah.
Shelley's mom.
What is it like for you being a woman here in Medellin and in Colombia versus being in Australia? I want you to be in depth about being a woman.
Okay, it's really fucking different.
Say that again. Get closer to the session.
Really fucking
That's
different.
what I'm talking about.
Okay, so the first thing that was extremely hard for me to get used to again was the catcalling and the utter disrespect.
Show us a cat call.
What
Do-
what's
do a
it, what
cat
is a common cat call
Yeah,
in
just
Colombia? Like
get
something
close to
that
the
just
mic. Let
really
people hear
irks you.
Uy, bebé, qué culito tan rico.
Oh, but that's so sexy sounding. I mean, if you know the person. Okay.
No.
I mean, if you know the person, that's
Yeah,
fine. If
yeah.
you're like, if you're saying that like That basically means
to a complete stranger.
Yeah.
that basically means like, oh baby, you have such a nice ass.
Yeah, that's
If
tough.
if you're saying that to somebody you're like fucking with, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're telling that to a complete stranger, it's really intimidating.
Yep.
It makes you feel very afraid.
Yep.
And it's just disrespectful. It like strips you away from your humanity.
Yeah.
Like you're seen only as like a whole
Yeah.
body part, you know,
Yeah,
like.
Dang, I wish somebody said that to me though.
You can replay the little part where I just say
I
it,
will.
and then you just replay it every night.
No, Andrew, you don't wish. You might be joking right now because I mean, I'm just gonna parallel this story.
What if it was a guy telling it to you, like to me? Yeah, I would be uncomfortable.
Not a guy. I'm not saying a guy. If there was a girl, if okay.
Like people that I wasn't attracted to telling
Exactly.
me.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Exactly.
No,
That is
yeah, I
the
agree.
thing.
I always think of like these things, but like a very attractive woman telling me that because it never happens. So I believe that it would be amazing. But in her context, it's probably some bus driver.
But it's not just her context. I think it's
Honestly-
that us men we don't
You guys don't
experience it. So we're like, oh yeah, you know, if a woman told me that, like, and you
I
think
would
it might
be
happen
flattered,
once,
yeah.
you might be flattered, but
But if
we're
it
talking about
happens
all
to
the
you
time.
every single
Yeah,
day, like
yeah.
I have that experience. Like I know I am not the most beautiful woman on the planet. Like I am very well aware of that. But I am not ugly, and I am also very well aware of that. And I cannot walk 3 blocks without being caught cold. Here,
Where you live?
where I live in.
You ever
Medellin.
watch Sex in the City? The show Sex in the City?
I think I watched a few episodes.
Okay,
but
well I
not
remember
really.
Carrie. When,
Yeah,
when
she's she
did I
reads
just age
books.
myself again?
No, she reads books. She's not gonna watch.
You can
the
watch
Sex and the-
Netflix and read at the same
That's
time.
like the
Anyway,
worst show ever.
Hold on, no, it's not, Mr. Big up. So for those of you who know what Mr. Big is, shut up, Felipe. You watch Sex in the City when nobody's seeing you. But she said that when you begin to feel unattractive and old is when the catcalling stops. What do you think about that?
That's fucking bullshit.
Well, that's because you're 22. You're 23.
23.
We'll talk when you're
What
43.
if no one catcalled you?
That would be fucking amazing. That's what
Okay.
happened to me in Australia.
Okay, and
Nobody
you felt
fucking.
great.
Yeah, I felt great. I felt safe.
Oh,
You
okay.
felt safe. Okay, so you feel so. the
I don't
cat-
feel safe here.
Okay.
I don't feel safe
Has it
here at
happened?
all.
Has it ever happened with a foreigner?
No. It has never happened to me like that. A foreigner like catcalls me. It's usually like it has been only Colombian guys, and I do think it has a lot to do with the match culture that we have here. And like when I was in Australia, I could just like go outside and walk and be like in really short, like tiny shorts, and like just being outside, walking, being with my friends, minding my own business, and people would respect that.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for me to come back here and not having that opportunity, like really thinking of what I would wear out on the street if I want to get less catcalled.
Yeah.
Not completely avoid it, because I can wear like a dress that covers me like neck to toe and I would still get catcalled.
So can I ask a question about that?
Of course.
Okay. So, apart from if I'm in like Santa Marta, or I have like my basketball jersey that I wear sometimes when there's like something going on, if I'm feeling a little ripped, a little muscular, a little nice, I'll wear a little minimal clothing, right? Why? Because I know there'll be attention on me. There's nobody catcalling me, which is really good or bad, one of the other.
It's good.
It's good. Good. So do you think? And I'm asking this question. I'm being devil's advocate because I know the answer to the question. In a way, I know my own answer. What is it that you like about when you wear a super short skirt, for example, little shorts? What is it that when you wake up and you go into your closet, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna wear this, and it's like the time. What are you hoping to achieve or feel?
So, as I said before, like I am an extremely sexual person and I am not ashamed of my body or my sexuality or anything like that. And obviously, clothes do express that. It is a way of expressing who you are and your sexuality and how you're feeling. So, when I wear things like that, I want to feel sexy and attractive.
Exactly.
And that is true. And I think that is true for most girls. But that is not an excuse for random guys to disrespect me.
Exactly. Beautiful.
You know, so you can feel attracted to me. You can like see me walking down the street and be thinking how hard you want to fuck me in the ass. I don't need you to tell me that.
Yeah.
I don't want you to tell me that.
Or you could say it.
You can
Or express
you can-
it somewhere differently, like, hello.
No.
You look
No,
lovely.
the person
No.
can't say hello.
No. I don't want you to tell me like, hey, you look like nothing.
But what? But why? Okay. I
Like-
love this conversation.
Or how
No,
about
I don't want to.
how about wow, I really liked that you used shorts today because they look lovely. You
No.
wouldn't even want someone to
I
say
I
that.
really
don't
love
want
that you use.
Well, I'm just
I don't
playing
want
devil's
any.
advocate.
I don't want anybody to
Okay,
say
hold
me
on, hold on.
out.
So you don't
So
want
here's the
anybody
deal.
to even talk to you when
I'm
you
gonna
walk out
disagree
in
with
little
this.
shorts?
I'm gonna disagree with this.
You don't even want anybody to
disagree with
talk
this.
to you.
I mean, like, okay, so like not the talking, but I mean, how can I say
What if
this?
like,
you know,
would you like to buy an avocado? Because you're beautiful.
what?
You gotta use a tool to
Okay.
get into the.
Like,
No,
this
okay, wait.
avocado is so
Yeah.
nice.
You
and
remind
plump.
me of this avocado.
This avocado is so nice, just
Okay,
as creamy as
so
you
what
are.
you're saying is that you would wear tiny shorts outside, showing legs and ass, but you wouldn't want someone to talk to you or acknowledge the fact that you're wearing tiny shorts and you have a nice ass.
Exactly.
But why?
But I mean, like,
But this is
it
why
is-
mass
it
shootings
is the
by
way-
men in the United States happen.
It is the
They're
way.
so emasculated by
Okay,
this.
so
True. Okay.
just
Let's hear. Come through. Tell us.
just
tell us,
let
tell
me
us.
explain.
You go ahead. Do your thing.
yeah. So I mean, so if I'm working like out like on the street, minding my own business, and you're like I'm wearing shorts or I'm wearing a short skirt and whatever, I know that I am going to attract looks. Yeah, coming from every single type of human, right?
Okay.
Yeah, even
I know
women are
that,
gonna look
and
at you,
yeah, they are gonna look at me, and that's nice because you know, like you're being attractive, and that guys can find you attractive. So I think it all comes down to the way to approach a girl.
But
that
you
is
just said
looking
you
like
didn't
that.
want an
You don't
approach.
want an approach.
If you let me finish, then you would understand.
I like her. I like
Okay.
this. Yeah, go.
Okay, so it is very different when like a random guy just like tells you like, "Hey, I really like your shorts because you know they
Your
look lovely,"
shorts.
and you know, I can see your ass. You're that like that is extremely like to the point and extremely sexual in and of itself. So if you like see a girl that is just minding her own business and you like go like, hey, like all due respect, I think you look beautiful, but like not highlighting
Exactly.
what you
But
think
no,
it's
but
beautiful
sorry,
that
I'm
is
sorry,
her
but Andrew
ass.
never. But Andrew's comment was not anything about your ass.
Yeah.
But he
And-
did say it.
No,
you
I
did
love
say
your
it.
shorts. I said I love
No,
your
but that was
shorts.
the second time. Wasn't the first time you just said I love
But
your shorts?
you
No,
did
the first
say
time
it.
was like hello.
Yeah,
she
that's
said
what he said.
no.
You're like,
I don't
want
want
to
that.
talk to. Because here's my point.
But it depends on the hello because it's a very different type of
Yeah, it's a very
like
different
guys.
hello. I agree.
Yeah,
if it's a
it's a-
beautiful guy in blue eyes, blonde hair, beautifully dressed,
No.
and he said hello, how are you doing, madam? As opposed to
to you,
"¿Qué más,
To you.
bebé?"
to you,
Cute
to you
bebé.
and your fucking little hat.
No, but like the
Your
Q
bicycle
array
shirt.
is like
"Cute
fucking
bebé"
annoying.
is way different.
Cute
It's
bebé.
It
way
is
different.
no, it is way different, but it doesn't have to be like a blonde guy. Like you can be a blonde guy and be fucking
Well,
disgusting. Like
He said beautiful.
I said a beautiful blonde,
See, you're
blue-eyed
jumping over
man.
his words.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm
So
not.
here's
making
my
up
point,
words.
people. So wait.
But like-
okay, go ahead. You go.
sorry.
Go.
So like if you approach a person in a very respectful way and like not highlighting that you are attracted to that woman, like particular woman, because you are seeing like her ass and you like her ass, then I think it's okay. And it's like the way to say hello because like you can say like hello or you can say hello. It's two completely different things.
So hold.
And you know,
Like
like
the
the cat
elevator
calling,
eyes
I've
or-
had guys who are like, I don't know, like 60 or something. And I'm like just minding my own business, walking down the street, going to that metro because I need to go to work. And they're like, hello. And I'll be like, fucking disgusting. And then,
Oh fuck you, you disgusting bitch. Oh. Okay. Wait,
Yeah,
I
it's
get
a-
no, I get that. I
yeah.
get that. I get that. All I'm saying is my point to that is, and the reason I ask is if I wore a shirt, if I did like 900 push-ups that day, and I walked out with my sleeveless shirt, and a girl said, you've got really nice arms, right? Let's just say she said that. And again, maybe because it doesn't happen so often, so it's not a thing. I'd be like, yeah, I did my thing. My arms look good.
Even if it was an unattractive or a person that you
yeah, it doesn't matter because I wore the shirt to show out my arms because I want to feel that I have nice arms. So
you will feel that as a compliment.
I would feel it as a compliment. And I've looked at a woman and said, wow, you honestly, you have a very beautiful body. But I usually do exactly what you said, which is with respect.
With respect, yeah.
I say with respect. I actually always say with respect because I don't want to be like, hey, you got to be... Well, I don't even know how to do that. I would seem like an ass. Hey, you mami. Que cuerpo. No, I can't do that. I just don't know how to do that. So all I'm saying is that the reason that we're having this discussion is that I think like it's very important, and you mentioned feminism at the start, is that I honestly want to understand that perspective and where you're coming from, because I see girls with like booty shorts here or like really, really tiny shorts, and hell, I'm going to look. I'm definitely good. I'm not going to catcall.
It's fine if you look.
Okay.
Like they are there for a reason.
But
they
isn't
want
there
to
a
show
way
it
that
off.
maybe he looked too strong? He's like too...
Yeah. But it's like, it's a kind of look, and it is the kind of way, it's how you approach it. So it's not the same thing as if you're like, nice ass. And then like you just keep on minding your own business, right? Then if you're like...
Yeah, like where you're being like a pervert.
Yeah, but some people's
that's
jaws
different.
aren't as strong to hold the drop.
Yeah, and they drop their jaw, or they
Yeah.
like bite their lips.
Yeah.
And
Or
it's
they-
too much. It's just too much.
The worst thing that for me, it's like when you nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
It-
Oh.
oh my god, when I
That's
hear
very
that,
popular in the
the
Caribbean, by the way.
I hear that here
Because
and
they
I'm like,
hiss. They don't even whistle. They hiss.
So I've always wondered about these guys because I grew for part of my life. We talked about it on the last episode. In Guyana, it happens in Jamaica, it happens in Trinidad, in the Caribbean. It's a very macho culture like this, except how they catcall there is like this, which is even worse. You heard that? It's yeah.
That's-
Imagine
That
a woman
happens
hearing
here
that
as
all
well.
day.
All
But
day.
but they literally that's it. They inhale. And I had these friends growing up in high
Dang,
school.
I could go to
They
the
do
Caribbean.
that, right? And then the girl looks and they look away. I'm like, wait, big man, you were just out there. So when a guy does that,
Yeah.
you should walk up and be like, hey, so what you want to talk about? What book you read?
That is very dangerous.
What book
are
have
you
you read
reading?
lately?
No. That is very dangerous.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
obviously.
Yeah.
recommend anybody to do that, because I remember once I defended myself and I had 5 guys like literally running after me,
Wow.
and I had to go to police.
Tell us
so
about that.
it was like,
What happened?
so I was actually like walking out of Poblado Station. I was going home. I used to live in Guayabal. And there was these 3 guys following me since the time I like left the metro, and they were like catcalling me constantly,
scary.
constantly, and they were following me.
Yeah.
Like it would never stop. And then I just turned around. I said like, just respect me, like fucking respect me. And they got mad, like visibly mad, and they started running after me.
That's
and
crazy.
then I had to like sneak into like an office supply store and call police. And then when the police arrived, then I could go home, and they like, it was really bad. I just wouldn't really recommend anybody to do that, because it can get really dangerous. Because obviously like the culture that we have here is that men can do whatever they want.
right.
And do
And
you
they are
find
allowed to
that
do
there's a
whatever they
difference
want.
in dating? So wait, you said you've only mentioned men right now, so I assume that you're heterosexual.
I am, yes, heterosexual,
Okay,
very.
so you're very heterosexual. So what is the
I've tried girls and not really my
not
thing.
that good.
No.
Me too. I don't like them.
You
that
tried
much.
guys?
That's why I end up living with Andrew. for
Joel
like 40
tried
years.
guys and then ended up living with me for 6 years.
And then they adopted me.
And then we
Then we
adopted,
adopted young Felipe.
They adopted Juan
Young
Camilo.
Flippy was a 10,000-pound baby.
I hope
that we
my family. I hope I had one glass of wine, so you guys know I'm sober right now. My family aren't watching this right now. I can't even handle that whole like the finger butt thing too much. I'm like,
Wait,
yeah,
what?
I can't even.
What
I can't
finger
even
butt
figure-
thing?
I
What?
can't, the finger in the butt. I can't even handle. I'm like, what's happening right now? This is just too much for me. So I couldn't.
That is exactly my question. What is happening
How
right
he
now?
went from adoption to
Yeah, from
Fingering
being
The
like,
people need to be entertained. No, okay, wait. No, but we're going to talk about that later. Private podcast. $500 each to
Fingering the
join
butt.
that.
All right.
Yeah. But so my thing is the dating difference. I mean, it has nothing to do with the finger to butt.
Where did we go?
It's not. We went right there. We went there. I took us there. So hold on.
You took a sharp right
I
turn
did try to. It's
at
great.
Anal Valley.
What was the thing you talked about earlier? What was that?
Analingus.
Analingus. You did. Okay, wait. Okay, let's get back. Let's get back on track. Seriously.
Okay, go on.
Seriously. What's the difference in dating a foreign guy? Have you dated a foreign guy?
Yes, mostly.
Are you single right now?
Yes.
Okay, so have you dated? So I don't want to talk about currents because that could get embarrassing if you're like, yeah, but
There
sex
have
sucks.
been no currents for 2 years, so it's fine.
Yeah. And plus it's COVID, so it's
COVID,
not like
yeah.
people are
So
going
what is the difference between dating a foreign guy and a Colombian guy?
Family. That'll be the first thing. Colombian guys tends to be like a lot more family oriented, and the family gets involved
Okay. Is that
in the
good or bad?
relationship. That is fucking horrible.
Well,
I don't like
for
it.
you.
For
you,
me,
you don't like
for
it.
me, because you feel like a lot of pressure into it, and I am not a family-oriented person myself.
Okay.
So it is really hard to kind of deal with that pressure of being perfect, and they expect you to be like this perfect girl who doesn't do anything.
What'd you call it? Asolapada.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
dang, I learned
They
something
expect you
today.
to be like that. They expect you to be like that. They expect you to be perfect in front of them and to, like be kind of a saint. And I'm not like that at all.
Anna, could you imagine me walking into a house and the people expecting me to be a saint?
No.
Good. All right, continue. Let's go.
Yeah, so that is the main difference. And I feel like when I date someone who is from a different place, which now that I think of it, I have dated more foreign guys than Colombian guys. It's very different because I feel like my relationship is with him, not with him and his
family.
family.
Okay.
I feel it's just like he's my man. Like, it's mine. Well, not mine, but,
Yeah.
He's-
He's your man.
he's mine, kind of.
But have you heard of
Maybe.
that, Andrew? Have you heard of because one of the things that I've heard is that particularly for Paisa guys, and Paisa guys, if you're listening, Colombian men, if you are listening, give your opinion, and I don't give a fuck what you say because it's your opinion, not mine. But what I've heard is that Colombian guys are so accustomed to being mimado by their
Yes.
moms, like, "Oy, mi bebé, here, let me clean your bum."
It's so bad. Like, they expect you to be their mother.
Exactly. I've heard that. I heard that
They
when they
expect you to be
move to
their
the
mother.
girlfriend, the
It's like
girlfriend
an extension
is
of
of
their mom.
the mom, and they
Yeah.
expect the girlfriend to continue the role of the mom, obviously
heard
with
that
sex
too.
and everything else.
Wait, what?
That's straight. But you know what I mean? Like the sex and everything comes in there.
Like,
But
you have sex, but then you're supposed to cook, and you're
yeah,
supposed to
to
clean, and you're
clean,
supposed to
you're
do the
supposed to take
laundry,
care after them,
and
yeah.
take care after them,
Yeah.
and like call them to see if they have eaten. I'm like, you're
Is that
fucking
true?
grown.
Is that true? Or am I making
That
that
is
up?
true. That is absolutely true.
Okay.
That is absolutely true.
But do you find and the other thing I've heard, so let's talk about the foreign guys now, about us,
Them.
is that we're cold. We're cold, we're not affectionate, we're just like, like a Paisa guy will meet Anna and the next day call her my
Amor,
life,
mi amor,
my sky,
mi cielo.
my love.
I think
my
it really
bottle of
depends on
aguardiente.
it really depends on the person, and I think like if you haven't been elsewhere, it would be harder for you to accept that people are like that.
One of the questions that I've actually wanted to ask, or I would like to ask more women as well, is when it comes to dating in Colombia, do you use any apps or websites, especially now with the whole COVID thing, just to meet people? Is it social media, any apps or websites for dating?
No.
Have you ever in the past?
I haven't used an app, but I do have a weird experience.
Okay.
Tell us
that?
about that weird experience, girl.
So I don't know how the fuck I ended up chatting with a guy over Skype. I
On
was
Skype.
on Skype, yeah. I was 19 at the time, and he said he was 30. And that was completely fine for me because I am used to dating guys who are significantly older than me.
This is such a great story. Keep going,
Already
Anna.
started. It's
Keep
giving me
going.
hope
Yeah.
that one day I will date a 19-year-old girl.
Yeah, keep going, Anna. Keep going. Yeah.
Oh my god. So so he said he was 30 and that was fine for me because like age gaps are actually more common in Colombia than in other places.
Right.
So it was fine for me. It was like I was thinking like, yeah, no, that's the same kind of gap that my parents have, so it should be fine. And we were chatting and everything was fine. I was telling him about myself and he was telling me about himself. He was actually Australian, now that I think about it. And he sent me some photos. But like it wasn't like sexual photos or anything, like just photos of himself.
Wrestling an alligator.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically. And I sent him like photos, like just kind of to see how each other looked like. And we agreed to meet up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to choose like somewhere public.
Yeah.
So if anything like weird happens, I can run.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
So I chose Santa Fe Mall.
Yeah.
And I asked 2 of my friends to be like, okay,
nearby.
Lookouts?
yeah, to look out, like, because you gotta be safe.
Yeah, you gotta be safe, girls.
Right.
Yeah.
So my 2 friends, like Victoria and Ada Luz, they were like there pretending to be on a date, and then I was like there, kind of waiting for the guy, and he turned out to not be 30.
Oh shit.
He turned out to be like 55.
55. How do you even lie about that? Like,
Dang.
how do you go from like
I
I'm
don't know.
55?
I don't know
And
what
tell someone I'm
filter
30.
he used on the camera, but
he looked
like
good.
he looked good.
He looked good.
He looked
But when you
30.
saw him-
he looked. But when I saw him, I realized he was like bald, like this monk bald thing that they are bald on the
But
only
they had
on
the
the
hair here?
top of the head.
Like Addlestan from
Yeah, like Athelstan from
You know
from
Athelstan?
Vikings.
From
Yeah.
Vikings.
You know
Yes.
Athelstan? Don't you try to be cool over here.
No,
Dude,
I'm not trying.
Athelstan.
I know.
Athelstan.
I am
Ragnar,
cool.
Björn,
I am cool.
Lagertha,
I love
like all
fucking
of them.
But
Athelstan.
he did it on purpose. This guy did it because God
He was
decided that
old.
he was old.
Yeah,
And now
exactly.
his hair is gonna fall
So
like
it was
that.
like fucking terrifying. I was like, holy fucking
what'd
Wait,
you
shit.
do?
so you
If
sat
he
down
like-
with him?
If it like I panicked. I didn't know what to do.
Were
Like,
you in crepes and
honestly.
waffles?
I was in crepes and waffles.
He called me, he did the crepes and
called it.
waffles. I can't believe oh my god. That is the spot, right? Though.
Yeah.
Let's go to crepes
So-
and waffles.
so
Where
it
the
was
30-year-olds with bald heads go. Okay, yeah, keep going, keep
Okay,
going.
so
keep
what
going.
happened?
So I was actually there, and then we had to wait to like get in because it was like really crowded. And I
And
was
you needed
like,
you needed a walker? You needed like a wheelchair?
not yet,
Okay,
but
cool,
almost.
okay. Yeah, okay. All right, go.
So I was like, okay,
Damn.
I feel like people are going to think that I am just having an ice cream with my dad. Okay, fine.
This is fucking excellent. All right, yeah.
And then I was like, okay, like, hey, like we got into the crepes and waffle thing. And I, ordered something. I don't even remember what it was because I was so fucking terrified. And then my friends were like 2 like tables away from us.
Oh, God.
And they were like texting me like, fuck, you need to get out of here. You need to get out of here. You need to get out
You
of
need
here.
to get out of here. Run.
And I was like, yes, but just like wait because I don't know how to do this without being like
Get the food first, girl.
super uncomfortable. So I ordered something.
Of course you did. Get your.
I don't remember what
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah, you
thing
were.
was. And I started eating, and I was like, hey, you know what? I really need to go to the toilet.
You did not put the bathroom move on him. You pulled the.
And I fucking left. And then we went to Forever 21 to chop because it was like a really hard day, and we needed to.
Wait.
Prioritize.
Forever 21 is in the same mall.
Yeah.
The man is sitting in crepes and waffles, and you went shopping?
Yeah.
Cool. See, this is the type of people we have on the Colombian
Well,
podcast.
first of all, he deserved it.
He
He
deserved it.
Yeah, he
deserved
deserved
it
it.
because
You
you
can't
do
use a
not
filter.
tell people that you are 30 when you are 21 years older than.
Well, she doesn't know how old. She could just have an aged face.
But he was 51?
He was like 55.
You asked
I
him?
would
How do you
say.
know?
I asked him.
Oh, he was 55. But
Did
then,
you ask him why he
but-
told you?
But
He
why
just-
did he tell you?
I didn't ask him that. Like when he said he was 55, I was fucking terrified, and I was like, okay.
And you
fuck,
were
I need
19?
to- I was
Dang.
19.
I tell girls I'm 19.
Like he could have been my dad. Like,
That's fucked up.
like that's fucked up.
Maybe
and
he
then
wanted to be your daddy.
I would like a younger daddy, please.
You're
A
too
younger
good daddy.
daddy.
Too good daddy.
No, but that is,
Common story.
yeah. But well, I mean, I don't know if it's common because I've never had that experience, but
Because you're not 55 yet.
no. But even if I were, like, I'm pushing 40, I'm 39, but I literally,
Nor does he have a sugar daddy.
yeah, and nor do I want to be a sugar daddy to a sugar baby, but which sounds kind of cool though. But like when I go on Tinder or on any dating app or whatever, I always put my age. I'm like, yeah, I'm 39. I don't see why do people lie about it? Why is there maybe people on the comments?
I'll tell you why they lie about it.
Could tell me
Here,
why
I'll
they
tell you
lie.
why they lie about it. We know what that's like. Back in the day when we started our business, somebody said, "Do you do social media marketing?" We'd be like, "Yeah, we do that." They said, "You make video?" We're like, "Yeah, we do that." Why is that? Because you just need a foot in the door.
I never said that.
Yes, we did.
No,
Bro,
I've never
we-
done social media marketing. If someone
Andrew,
told me
Andrew,
you do
Andrew,
social media
listen,
marketing,
By the way, to anyone who's watching this, he can debate all he wants. Andrew has one fucking philosophy in business, so you guys can know, and he can contest if he wants. It is say yes, we'll figure it out. Yes or no?
that's true.
Exactly. So let's just back the bullshit up. So
That
what
is-
these guys
but
are
I've
doing-
never said that I do it.
Oh, that is
You
true.
say you could do it.
Because you don't have a surrogate. Like that guy couldn't send a surrogate.
Like, because I would hate for if a client said, "Hey, do you do social media marketing?" And I said, "Yes, I do
You
it."
say we do.
Yeah, I say we.
We
Yeah.
do.
I'll find the we.
So you're sharing.
I'll find the we.
You're sharing the guilt, sharing the
Exactly. So
responsibility.
what that guy
I'll find
wanted-
someone that
What
can do
he
it.
wanted to do was get a foot in the door, and he thought that maybe his charisma and his bald spot. By the way, I got a big ass fucking bald spot, but I take the rest off. His bald spot would somehow work his way into your heart.
Yeah,
It
that's the
didn't
wrong
work.
way.
It didn't work.
It didn't
It didn't
work. That's
work.
the wrong way to do it. So guys, if you're out
Yeah,
there,
just be honest.
Just be honest, right?
Just be honest and be honest with what you want. Like, be honest with what you want. If you just want sex, just say it up.
Sorry,
front,
let's
it's
get back to
fine.
the way let's okay. Wait. You're talking about some stuff that we've never talked about
I'm
on
sorry.
this podcast, and I really want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. So when I met for you as somebody who I would think respects yourself, you respect your body, I think you're very open about your sexuality and everything.
Yeah.
If a man is just interested in sex with you, right? Well, you don't know. Well, I mean, yeah, you never know. So he's just interested in sex with you. What does that man for you say to you that you feel one respected, right? So we cover those bases, but you'll go ahead and do it. Let's say you'll go ahead and do it. What does a man say to a woman and he just wants sex?
I mean, I think it really depends on the woman. Like, I can only talk for myself in this part. But I'd say, I meet you in a bar. And then we go
Wait.
dance.
Oh, I'll meet you in the bar. I thought you said I'll meet you in the back.
No.
With your
I-
accent, it sounded like
I'll
it.
meet- I'll meet you-
I
I'll
meet you in a bar.
Oh, you meet her in a bar.
Okay, let's go.
I meet you in a bar.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Because you're in American territory now. I'm
Of
Canadian,
course.
by the way.
Yeah, I know. So I meet you in a bar, and then we like talking, and everything kind of
Flowing.
flows. It's flowing, and I find you interesting. You find me interesting, and like things start getting flirty and sexy. And then as we dance, like we approach.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a good dancer, by the way.
What?
For me, personally, just being open to trying things. That
Okay.
says a lot.
Like you're
about
okay
a
with
man.
like a wiggler? Like a wiggle man?
What about
a
like
wiggle?
if he dances like if it was like,
Like
a
a
grandfather
pendulum.
club?
Yeah,
like,
clock. We got a friend that dances like a pendulum.
he just goes like this. And
Yeah,
we're
like that's
"What are
fine.
you
And
doing,
then I'm
bro?"
like, okay, I'll teach you how to move. And then
Oh.
if you are willing for
She
me
is a
leading
teacher.
you, then that says a lot about you.
Okay.
And I'm interested.
All right.
Damn.
So, okay, so things start getting flirty, things start getting like a little bit more touchy. And then like you say like, hey, everything's cool, everything's fine, I find you very interesting, very attractive, but I'm here for the night or something like that. Like, okay,
That
cool.
actually happens? I thought dudes talk about it. Guys talk about it after the fact. Who a guy actually says that before he even gets down? He's like, well, let me tell you something. I'm just here for the night. Or does he say that like,
I've
think
had
it's-
that happen
Maybe it's
to me.
implied too. Like it could be implied.
It
like,
could
hey,
be
I'm just
implied as-
visiting type of.
It could
Yeah,
be
I'm
implied
visiting
as well
Colombia.
because like especially if it's a foreign guy, like hey, I'm here for a week. Like yeah, they're here for the night. They're here for the week.
okay.
They're here to fuck for the week.
Okay.
So it's fine.
Okay.
And then you kind of know that. So I think like you really need to be upfront and kind of like not being afraid of what the other like what the other person might say to you, because you don't really need to get into someone's heart to get into the pants.
Oh my
Ooh,
God, we're gonna
that's
put
the
that on a
quote
t-shirt.
of the
Hey,
year.
that is...
You don't
that is
need
the-
to get into someone's heart to get into their pants.
That's
You
how
don't
we
have
should
to.
end this episode.
That's what I'm gonna be wearing that shirt.
Holy shit, that's...
No, you
And then it's
don't,
gonna
and I
say
feel
Ana
like-
Estrada.
No, wait,
as like the
Say,
author.
finish what you just said.
No, and I feel like that is actually, I value that more. Like, I value honesty a lot more. I mean, if that is the only thing that you want, and that if that is the only thing that you're like willing to do, I'm like, just say it to me, and then if I agree to it, cool, fine. Like, we'll enjoy like a real nice week together, and like maybe go for dinner, maybe go to clubs, and like have a lot of sex, and that's fine. But why would you think that you have to get into my heart, get to like know me as a person and like care about me as a person, and then let me down and break it?
Right.
That makes no sense.
that's a
That
good
makes no
point.
sense, and that is fucking horrible. You know,
Yeah.
like you don't need to do that. And if
that is a
if
good
the
point.
girl doesn't want that, then cool. Like you're free to find
Dang, I
somebody
wish I could have
else.
this conversation with every girl. Like, and that was their response.
Why don't you just start it like that, Andrew?
Yeah, like, I'm
You
not
don't-
gonna
you
try
know,
to get
listen,
into your
listen,
heart.
Listen, girl. You don't need to get into my heart to get into my pants.
No, it's the opposite.
Oh, I thought you were saying
no,
'cause you
she's
are.
saying you
Okay,
gotta
yeah.
be the
Yeah, yeah,
opposite.
okay.
Listen, girl, I'm not here to get into your heart. I'm here to get into your pants. And if she runs, then okay, at least you were honest.
Yeah, you were honest.
But if she sticks around, then you're like, do you do drugs? No, I'm just kidding.
And he puts on the yellow Falcons,
Yeah.
and that's the way we end this episode. Hey, we got to wrap this up because we're going
Anna,
to Spanish.
You were an amazing
You're-
guest.
honestly,
Actually, one
I've
of the
been
most
talking about
interesting
this
conversations.
crazy
We went
ass
from
shit.
books to semi-nude, full nude photography to dating in Colombia and Australia and foreign people.
Yeah.
This was amazing. For those of you guys watching us on live, we are going to be switching over to Spanish in just a
Okay.
moment.
sorry, mom.
We're gonna
Sorry, everyone.
We're gonna take a break. Make sure that you guys hit the bell on the recorded version. Follow us, subscribe on Instagram, on Facebook,
And check out Anna's profile.
Anna.
Yes,
if
please.
someone wants to follow you, where can they find you?
So they can find me on Instagram as Anna_Estrada.p.
.p.
Right here.
Right there.
Yep.
See you guys next time. All right. So we're gonna take a break.
If you want to see Andrew in a skinny leopard print thong, please be sure to follow us and listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, or any other major podcast platforms. And Andrew, if they want to see our ugly faces, what should they do?
They can see us on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube for show.